Alright guys, got another video here on the Pavo30. This is a slightly updated version, but I'm not going to go over every little detail on this model because I already have another video that I made previously. I'll link that in the video description if you want all the specs and details on that. The only thing that they changed here, as far as I know, or as far as they've told me, is that they've updated the motors. So previously on the DJI version, they had a 1506 motor with the standard 5mm prop shaft and prop nut, and they decided to go with a little bit lighter weight here, and I think it's the same KV. They're 3000 KV 1506, but now they're using the T-mount style for the motor here. Does save a couple of grams. Same propeller, I think, the 5-bladed propeller, and everything else is, as far as I know, is going to be the same. But I made another video because I guess some people wanted to see how this would fly as an acro flyer, and I was like, well, I don't normally fly Cinewhoops as it's more freestyle with Flippy Floppies because basically, in my opinion, flying a Cinewhoop as a freestyle acro flyer is kind of like taking a minivan and entering it into a drift race. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't compute. You can do it, of course, but it's not the best. And I actually, in the flight footage you'll see here at the end, show you one of the downsides. It's quite heavy for the amount of, basically the power to weight ratio, and so you'll bottom out a lot. And I actually attempted to do that on purpose, and I did. And I bottomed out in one of my maneuvers, and I hit the ground. Actually hit I think it was concrete. And one of the things it does is it causes the camera here to loosen up. You can see this gets all loose. You'll have to retighten that or put some Loctite on that screw there. Otherwise, this will just, basically what happens is the camera went up like this. And yeah, this was okay. This didn't move, but this one went all crazy and got a lot of vibration as well. So yeah, if you want to do freestyle, you have to account for the extra weight. It's just basically trying to freestyle like a bus. You don't have a lot of power, but you can do flippy floppies and split S's and all that. It can do it. It has the power to do it. It's just not the same as trying to do it on like a 5-inch freestyle. So just be aware of that. Also, I would recommend, if you are going to do the freestyle on this, go with a smaller battery. So I went with a Force 550. Shortens the flight time, of course, but you're going to have a better time flying it around versus, say, like a battery gets like 1100. It's going to weigh twice as much. It's just going to feel even worse in the air. And let me show you what the weight difference is here. This is going to be with the SMO 4K camera on here. You can refer to the old video if you want to see how much it weighs with the old motors, which they don't sell anymore, so I'm not sure it really matters. But it is a little bit lighter, I'm pretty sure. It's coming in at 206.5 grams. With the updated motors. Otherwise, everything else is the same. I'm pretty sure the pit tune's the same as well, if you guys are wondering about that. They just made a minor change and update to the motor spec. Typically, this is what they do. All the companies are doing this now. I don't know why they're doing it. The frequency of it is actually increasing, which is kind of annoying because I'll put a video out and then someone will say, hey, I just got this thing that I bought through your link, and it's got different motors on it or a different flight controller or something. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about that. That's kind of what they're doing now because the supply chain is kind of strained. So they're kind of switching around and stuff to find the best, components at the time that they, put the drones together. So, unfortunately, I think, a lot of industries do this as well. I hear that this is going on right now in the auto industry. Because they're having a lot of component shortages. So like, here are like people that buy cars now with like old analog stuff in the dash because all the digital stuff isn't available anymore. So stuff like that. Anyway, it's not anything like unique to FPV. I think that happens in a lot of other industries as well, especially now in this time of component shortages everywhere. We're probably going to see the frequency of that even increase even more. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of par for the course these days. Anyway, here's the flight footage from here. This is going to be the footage from the SMO 4K. Oh, and by the way, this is from the updated firmware. I have updated this with the latest, I'll put it up here on the screen what version it is, of the firmware for the 1R. and it has, interestingly, on the 1R you can adjust the sharpness setting on the 1R because it has a screen, but because this one does not have a screen, I can't do that to show the improved sharpness features of this new firmware. I hear that you can do it on the iPhone app. If you have an Apple, the Apple version of the iOS app, you can connect to it wirelessly and change the sharpness setting on this camera, just like you can do on the 1R. But on the Android version of the app, that ability to change the setting isn't there. So I was not able to change that because I don't own any Apple products at all. So if someone out there has the updated 1R firmware on their SMO 4K camera and you have an iOS, the iOS app, let me know if you were able to change that setting or not. Some people told me that they were able to. Some people said that it's not there. I don't know who to believe. But yeah, let me know down in the comments if you were able to do that firmware update and also be able to adjust the sharpness on the image here, because I think that's the only major downside. Well, not okay. I take it back. That's not the only. There's a lot of downsides to this, but one of the big downsides of this is that the image is very over sharpened in my opinion, and so I wanted to be able to reduce that. I tested it on the 1R, and by reducing the sharpness, it did look a lot better to me in my opinion. But I haven't been able to do it yet on this one. I'm told by Insta360 that they're going to update the Android app, but it's not an urgent matter for them. So maybe in a couple months, maybe 3 months from now, they'll come out with an update for that. But yeah, maybe you can, some of you guys have some influence over Insta360. Maybe you should contact them and ask them to update the Android app so that it matches the iOS app. Anyway, this is the footage from the SMO 4K camera, freestyling the updated Pavo30. Here you go. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.